Chapter 1: The Disaster. Maya Chen walked into Reed Towers expecting the usual chaos of Monday. Morning broken printers, co-workers half asleep, the occasional corporate meltdown. She did not expect him. Elias Reed, CEO, black-suited devil. The human equivalent of a cold shower and a sharp paper cut. He was sitting in her chair. Her actual, personal, ergonomically perfect, purchased on sale but still expensive chair. And drinking her coffee. He glanced up lazily, like she was interrupting him. "Chen," he said in that low, smooth voice that always sounded like a threat wrapped in velvet. "You're late. I'm literally 10 minutes early," she snapped. "Early? For you?" Elias took another sip of her coffee. Adorable. Delusional but adorable. Maya stared at the cup in his hand, the pastel blue one, the one she brought from home, the one with the hand-painted moon and tiny stars. "Why are you drinking out of my mug?" Elias blinked once slowly. "I assumed it was the communal mug. It literally has my name on it," she deadpanned. He looked down at the swirling gold letters. Maya, then shrugged. And? She sputtered. "This is workplace theft." "No," Elias corrected, leaning back and crossing one annoyingly toned leg over the other. "This is hierarchy." She gaped at him. "Are you serious?" "Very," he said. "I'm the CEO. You're an employee. Your mug is now my mug. Consider it a tax." "Asshole tax?" she muttered. He didn't even deny it. The ruined morning. She dropped her bag onto her desk the desk that used to be hers, because Elias was sitting in her chair, sipping her coffee, and radiating enough arrogance to power a small city. "Why are you in my office?" she asked. He raised an eyebrow. "Your office?" "Yes, my office. The one I work in. Daily. The one you've never stepped foot in before." He took another sip, and she could swear he did it louder just to piss her off. "I needed a change of scenery," he said simply. "This is a walk space, not your personal throne room." "No," he corrected again. "The entire building is my personal throne room." She stared at him like she was genuinely debating if murder convictions were worth it. Elias finally set the mug down. Oh, how generous. He steepled his fingers, studying her with those dark, unreadable eyes. "You're on the new acquisition project," he announced. Maya froze. "I'm... what?" "And you'll be reporting to me directly." Her brain short-circuited. "Hold on," she said. "I work in strategy. I don't report to anyone in your department." "You do now. You didn't even ask. You don't get asked," Elias replied smoothly. "You get informed." She inhaled sharply. "I don't want to work with you. That's irrelevant to the decision. I actively despise you." "See? We already have a strong foundation," he said. "Honesty, transparency, mutual hatred. Beautiful pillars for collaboration." Maya clenched her fists. "I swear, if you talk to me like that again..." "What?" he challenged softly. "What will you do, Chen? File a complaint? Throw your mug at me? Buy another one I can drink from?" The worst part wasn't his words. It was his smirk. She hated that smirk. She hated how it made her pulse jump. She hated him. Right? 10 minutes later, Maya stormed into the hallway. Her friend and co-worker Layla nearly crashed into her. "Whoa! Why do you look like you just swallowed a grenade?" Maya jabbed a thumb back at her office. Elias CEO, my chair, my mug, my sanity gone." Layla blinked. "All of that happened? In 10 minutes? He's like a natural disaster," Maya hissed. "But with better hair." Layla winced. "That's tragic." "Yeah, and kind of hot." Maya glared. "Layla, do not sexualize the disaster." Layla raised her hands. Sorry. Anyway, why was he even in your office?" He's assigning me to his project, Maya groaned. Direct report, Layla gasped dramatically. That's enemies to lovers proximity level. This is not a romance, Maya snapped. This is hell. A spicy hell. Maya stared at her. Get out. Back in the office, round 2. Maya marched back inside, ready to reclaim her chair, her mug, and possibly her dignity. Except Elias was still there, sitting, smirking, like he knew she couldn't physically drag him out. Good, he said without looking up. You're back. Sit. Excuse me? He pointed not at the chair he stole, but to a spot beside him. Beside him. As in, standing, like a servant. She didn't move. I'm not a golden retriever, she said sharply. He finally looked up, eyes glinting. No, Elias said. You're much more distracting. She froze. Wait, what? But he didn't break eye contact. He didn't laugh. He didn't smirk. Not this time. A chill rolled down her spine. Suddenly the room felt too warm. She swallowed. What is that supposed to mean? Elias's smirk returned slow, dangerous, mocking, devastatingly confident. It means, he murmured, lowering his voice, you should sit before I change my mind about being professional today. Her heart thudded. She hated herself for reacting. She hated him for knowing it. And she hated how much darker his smile got when he saw her flush. Chapter 2, Forced Together. Maya spent the rest of the morning pretending she wasn't spiraling. She replayed every second of what Elias said, trying to decide which part infuriated her more. Him sitting in her chair. Him drinking her coffee. Him telling her she was distracting, like he was commenting on a problem in the supply chain. Or him assigning her to work under him like she didn't have a single choice in the universe. All of the above. All of the above. Layla whispered across her desk. Do you think he's doing it because he likes you? Maya glared. He doesn't like me. He barely tolerates my existence. Exactly, Layla nodded. Classic man in denial. Maya wanted to throw a stapler. The meeting from hell. At exactly 10 a.m., Maya walked into the executive boardroom, the one with panoramic windows, leather chairs, and a table long enough to host a royal feast. Elias was already there. Of course. He sat at the head of the table, black suit immaculate, sleeves rolled up just enough to expose the veins on his forearms. Veins that Maya refused, absolutely refused to notice. He looked up as she entered. Chen, he greeted. On time. A miracle. She exhaled through her nose. Reed. Still here. A tragedy. A few executives exchanged looks, half amused, half terrified. Elias nodded to the chair beside him. Sit. She froze. Why can't I sit over there? She asked, pointing at a seat several chairs away. Because, he said simply, I want you here. Her pulse betrayed her with one stupid, traitorous skip. Maya opened her mouth to argue only for Elias to add, unless you struggle with following simple instructions. In which case, I can have HR set you up with a training module. She sat. She sat so hard the chair let out a sad squeak. Elias didn't comment, but the corner of his mouth twitched. The presentation. A nervous junior manager started presenting quarterly reports, stumbling over his words, voice cracking like a teenager in puberty. Elias watched him with dead-eyed CEO perfection, completely unreadable. Maya watched the junior slowly crumble. Feeling bad, she whispered under her breath, He's so nervous. Don't glare at him like you're about to fire him. Elias didn't look at her, didn't move, only said softly, Chen, this is my helpful face. She almost choked, trying not to laugh. No, she whispered back. Your helpful face looks exactly like your, I'm about to destroy your career, face. I'll take that under advisement, he murmured. But then she caught it. A tiny smirk. Like he actually found her funny. She didn't know what to do with that. She didn't think Elias, Reed, was capable of smirking for any reason besides enjoying someone's suffering. The assignment bombshell. When the meeting ended, people filed out quickly, eager to escape the tension radiating from the two of them. Maya stood up, ready to bolt. "Sit," Elias said again, without looking up from his tablet. She sat again. Curse her obedient legs. "You'll be joining me in New York next week," he said casually. "I want you present for the acquisition negotiations." Her jaw dropped. "I what? I didn't agree to travel. I didn't ask. You can't just fly me across the country." "I bought your ticket already." She blinked. "You what?" "Itineraries in your inbox," he said. "Pack something professional. And something formal for the gala." "Gala?" Maya sputtered. "What gala?" "The charity one. You'll be attending with me." "What? Why me?" Elias finally looked up, slow and deliberate, eyes dark, voice even darker. "Because Chen," he said quietly, "you're the only one in this building who isn't terrified to argue with me. Investors find that refreshing." Her heart did an Olympic-level somersault. She tried desperately to play it cool. "So, I'm basically your entertainment." Elias leaned back in his chair, eyes dragging over her in a way that made heat bloom beneath her skin. "Oh no," he murmured with a faint, dangerous smile. "You're much more than that." Her throat went dry. She hated that he could do this, ruin her breathing pattern with one sentence. "I'm not going," she said stubbornly. "You are." "I'm not." "You are." "No." Elias closed his tablet with one smooth, sharp click and stood up, stepping close. Too close. Close enough that she caught the scent of his cologne, clean, expensive, unfair. He looked down at her. Expression shadowed. Voice dipping to a low murmur. "Maya," he said, using her first name for the first time that day. "I'm your CEO. When I tell you to attend, you attend." She swallowed, heat crawling up her neck. "And if I refuse?" she whispered. He leaned in just slightly, just enough to make her breath hitch. "Then I'll convince you," he murmured. Thoroughly, her entire spine tingled. This man was going to destroy her sanity. After he left, Maya sat frozen for a full 30 seconds. Then, what the hell was that? She whisper-screamed to the empty room. Layla peeked through the doorway with a snack. "You okay?" "No, Layla." He CEOD at me. Layla blinked. "He, what?" "He does this thing." Maya flailed. That stupid low voice. That stupid stare. And he said my name. Not Chen, Maya. Layla grinned. "Oh. First name basis. That's CEO flirting." Maya covered her face. "Oh God, I'm doomed." "Yep." Layla nodded cheerfully. Deeply. Chapter 3. The rest of the day should have gone smoothly. Should have. But Maya had Elias. Reed assigned to her now. And Elias Reed came with a built-in storm warning. Everywhere she went, there he was. Like a dark, arrogant shadow. Like a 6'2" reminder that the universe hated her. The elevator incident. At noon, Maya rushed toward the elevator, arms full of folders. As the doors began to close, she shouted, "Hold it!" A hand slid between the doors, stopping them. Maya sighed in relief, then immediately regretted it. Because the hand belonged to him. Elias. He stood inside the elevator like he owned gravity, time, and every unfortunate soul in the building. "Maya," he said calmly. Why did her name sound like a warning when he said it? "Elias," she replied flatly, stepping in. The doors closed. Silence. Tense, suffocating silence. Then ding, the elevator lurched and stopped. Maya froze. No. Elias pressed the button. Nothing happened. He exhaled sharply, jaw clenching. Not today. Oh my God, Maya muttered, clasping her folders tighter. I am not getting stuck with you. This is my villain origin story. Elias shot her an unimpressed look. If anyone should be panicking, it's me. Why you? Because you're seconds away from spiraling. Sir, you bring out the spiraling. One eyebrow lifted. Do I? Yes, absolutely. You're like human anxiety. Elias didn't laugh, but the corner of his mouth twitched again. The banter begins. Maya pressed the alarm button. Elias leaned against the wall, hands in his pockets, looking like he was posing for a Men in Seats magazine cover. How are you calm? She snapped. He shrugged. Because panicking won't make the elevator move. Neither will standing there looking smug. I'm not smug. You absolutely are. His arms crossed over his chest, muscles tightening beneath his tailored shirt. Chen, he said softly. If I was smug, you'd know. She sucked in a breath. Heat crept up her neck. This man was dangerous. Psychologically. Emotionally. Hormonally. The worst part? He knew it. The unexpected honesty. Minutes passed. Maya slid down the wall, hugging her folders. I hate elevators. Elias glanced at her. Since when? Since forever. Why? Why do you care? Because you're pale and breathing too fast. She blinked. Was he worried? No. Impossible. It's just... Maya sighed. When I was a kid, I got stuck in an old elevator for 4 hours. I have no food, no water, no air conditioning, and worst of all, no phone. Elias stared. What? She asked. That's actually horrible, he said, voice sincere. She shrugged. I mean, at least I wasn't stuck with you. Elias's lips curved. You say that now. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing, he said, and of course, it meant something. When the elevator moved, with another ding, the elevator jerked back to life. Maya scrambled up. Finally. Elias didn't move. Chen, he said before the doors opened. Next time, don't hide it when you're scared. She frowned. I wasn't scared. You were. I wasn't. Elias stepped closer, lowering his voice. If you're going to lie to me, he murmured, at least be good at it. Her breath caught. The doors opened. He walked out first. She stayed inside for a second, stunned, trying to remember how legs worked. The team notices the shift. Back on the office floor, Layla spotted her and gasped. What happened to you? You look flushed. Maya pressed her hands to her cheeks. They were burning. I got stuck in the elevator, she muttered. With who? Layla whispered dramatically. Maya didn't answer. Her silence was answer enough. Oh my God, Layla mouthed, grabbing her shoulders. Did you touch? No, Maya hissed. He just too. Ooh, in a good way or bad way? There is no good way with him. Layla smirked. And yet your face says otherwise. Elias, across the room, he stood by the conference windows, hands in pockets, gaze on the skyline looking every bit like a CEO villain in a romance novel. Then he glanced at her. Just a glance. But it hit her like a drop kick to the soul. He smirked. She turned away immediately, heart traitorously stumbling. This was bad. Very, very bad. Because for the first time in years, Elias Reed didn't just annoy her. He intrigued her. Chapter 4, The First Crack. Maya tried to avoid Elias for the rest of the day. She failed. Not because she needed him. Absolutely not. But because he had a talent for appearing exactly where she didn't want him to be. Like a boss battle that respawned too fast. It was almost suspicious how often their paths crossed. Hallways. The break room. Outside the conference room. Even near the bathrooms, which should have been illegal. Every time he passed her, he gave her a look. Not a stare. Not a glare. A look. Like he was trying to figure her out. Like she was a new, interesting equation. She hated it. She definitely didn't secretly love it. The late-night work session. By 7 p.m., everyone else had gone home. Not Maya. Thanks to the project Elias dumped in her lap, she was drowning in data. She sat at her desk, hair up in a messy bun, sleeves rolled to her elbows, surrounded by spreadsheets, reports, and the broken pieces of her will to live. She didn't hear anyone approach, but she felt him. There was a shadow against her desk, and she looked up, slowly, knowing exactly who it was. Elias Reed, CEO, menace. Tall, dark, and emotionally inconvenient. He leaned one shoulder against the doorframe, watching her with that maddening calmness he wore like a tailored suit. "You're still here," he said. Maya raised a brow. "You say that like it's shocking. Most people go home at a reasonable hour." "Well," she muttered, typing aggressively, "I don't have that luxury because someone dumped a week of work on me." His jaw ticked, the first sign of guilt she'd ever seen on his face. He stepped inside, closing the door behind him. Too quietly, too deliberately. The air changed. Maya sat up straighter. Why are you closing that?" "Privacy," Elias said simply. "For what? Planning my funeral?" He ignored the jab and walked over, stopping beside her desk. "You should take a break," he said. She snorted. "I'll take a break when this data stops trying to murder me." Elias's gaze shifted to her laptop screen. "That spreadsheet is outdated," he said. "Use the numbers in the shared drive folder 6B. Maya's jaw dropped. "You mean I've been using the wrong numbers for the last 4 hours?" "Yes, Elias." He winced slightly. "I thought you knew." "How would I know?" "You didn't tell me." He paused. "I assumed you'd ask." She threw her hands up. "I didn't ask, because I didn't know there was anything to ask." A beat of silence. Then, "Fair point," he said quietly. Maya froze. Did he just admit fault? Elias Reed? CEO of Zero Apologies. The unexpected moment. Elias walked behind her chair, leaning down slightly to take a closer look at the screen. And suddenly he was close. Close enough that she could feel the heat of him behind her. Close enough that she smelled his cologne. Sharp cedar, something dark and clean and unfair. Her breath caught. Elias noticed. "Relax," he murmured, voice deep and low. "I'm just looking at the data." "Then stop breathing on me," she whispered back, heart racing. "I'm not," he replied. "You are." A tiny smirk curved his lips. "You're imagining it." She was not imagining anything. Not the warmth of him. Not the tension. Not the shift in the air that made her pulse trip over itself. Elias pointed at a column on the screen. "See this?" he asked softly. "These are the updated figures." His hand brushed hers. Barely. Lightly. Accidentally. But the effect was instant. Static shot through her arm like a spark. Elias stilled. "So did she?" Slowly, very slowly. He pulled his hand back. For the first time he looked rattled. Just a flicker. But she caught it. Maya swallowed. "You okay?" He cleared his throat, straightening too quickly. "Fine. You sure?" I said I'm fine. For a man who was fine. His ears had the slightest tint of red. She didn't point it out. She wanted to live. The cracked armor. Elias looked at her again. But differently. Not annoyed. Not amused. Something else. Something softer. Warmer. Dangerous. "You work harder than most people here," he said quietly. Maya blinked. Was that a compliment? He looked away. "Don't make it weird. It's already weird. Then pretend it wasn't." She shook her head. "That's not how compliments work." He sighed, irritated. But not with her. With himself. "Fine," he murmured. "You're good at what you do." Maya's chest tightened unexpectedly. It wasn't the words. It was the honesty in them. Elias wasn't a man who gave praise. He was a scalpel, sharp, precise, and rarely gentle. So when he offered softness, it meant something. Maybe too much. Maya turned back to her laptop, letting the moment settle. "Thank you," she said quietly. Elias nodded once. He lingered a moment longer, watching her, thinking something he didn't say. Then he stepped away. "Go home soon, Maya," he said, voice softer than she'd ever heard it. Before she could reply, he opened the door and left, leaving behind a silence that felt heavier than before, and a crack in her chest she wasn't ready to acknowledge. Chapter 5. Sarcasm. Or flirting. The next morning, Maya arrived at the office extra early. Not because she wanted to impress Elias, absolutely not, but because she needed space. Distance. A buffer, anything. But when she walked into her office, she froze. Her mug was on her desk, clean, perfectly placed, and filled with fresh coffee. Her exact order. A sticky note sat beside it. "Try not to spill anything today." Maya stared at it like it personally offended her soul. Layla walked in and immediately gasped. "Is that coffee?" "For you. From HIM. "It's not from him," Maya lied. "It has his initial on it. It could be anyone's Z." Layla grinned wickedly. "Who else here gives CEO-grade enemies to lovers' tension?" Maya groaned. "Shut up," but she took a sip, and hated how good it tasted. The elevator. Again, as if summoned by pure spite, Elias stepped off another elevator just as she approached. His eyes flicked to the mug in her hand. He smirked. "Ah, you found it. So it was you." He shrugged. "I told you hierarchy. I don't accept charity." "It wasn't charity." "Then what was it?" He paused. "Just a beat." "Then, insurance." "Insurance for what?" "For your mood," Elias replied calmly. "You're less combative after caffeine." Maya nearly choked. "I'm combative." He gestured vaguely around her head, energetic. "That's not a compliment." "It wasn't meant to be." She glared. He smiled, sharp and amused. This man was going to kill her. The CEO's slip-up. Later that morning, they sat in a tiny side conference room reviewing the presentation drafts. Maya pointed at a slide. "This looks too vague." Elias nodded. "Then fix it." "You fix it." "I don't fix things," he said. "I approve them." "Oh, so we're doing that today." "We do that every day." She rolled her eyes. "Try humility once in your life. It won't kill you." He leaned back in his chair, crossing his arms. "You think humility would look good on me?" he asked, voice dropping. Maya blinked. That tone. She swallowed. "I think being less of a tyrant would be a start." He tilted his head. "You don't like when I'm in charge?" Her face heated instantly. "That is not what I said." Elias's lips curved into a dangerous smirk. "Relax, Chen. I'm talking about work." "Are you?" "Yes." "Are you sure?" He didn't answer. Everyone else notices. By noon, their co-workers were whispering. The two of them were never far apart. Never speaking softly. Never just colleagues. They were something else. Something sharp enough to cut the air. In the break room, Maya reached for the sugar. Elias reached at the same time. Their hands brushed. Both froze. A spark, bright and stupid and undeniable, shot up her arm. Her breath hitched. Elias inhaled sharply. A second too long. A second full of tension. A second too intimate for two people who weren't supposed to even like each other. He pulled his hand back first. "Sorry," he said. Softly. Too softly. Maya stared at him. "Did you just apologize?" He cleared his throat. "You're imagining it." "Oh no," she whispered. "I think you just said sorry." "It was a slip. It was a miracle." He glared. She grinned. Co-workers passing by looked between them, eyebrows raised, whispering like the office had turned into a live soap opera. The conversation they didn't expect. They ended up in the Maya CEO's private office after lunch, the one with floor-to-ceiling windows, a view of the entire skyline, and enough empty space to echo guilt. Maya sat across from him, reviewing the updated slides. Elias wasn't looking at the slides. He was looking at her. "Maya," he said suddenly. She looked up, and her heart did that stupid, reckless stutter again. "Yes? You're different," he said. Her brows furrowed. "Different how?" He paused, searching for words. This was new. Elias wasn't a man who searched for words. He normally flung them like knives. "Finally, you're the only person in this building who talks to me like I'm human." Maya blinked. That was not what she expected. "Would you prefer I treat you like a robot instead?" She joked weakly. But he didn't smile. Instead, he leaned forward slightly. "No," Elias said quietly. "You treat me like a man, a regular one, not a CEO, not a paycheck, not a threat." Her heart squeezed. "Oh," she whispered. He nodded once. Silent. Intense. Honest in a way that felt too intimate. Something shifted between them. Again, something unspoken. Something dangerous. Something thrilling. Maya straightened her binder, trying desperately to regain control. "Well," she said carefully, "don't get used to it." One corner of his mouth lifted. Too late, and she felt it. The shift. The slow slide from enemies to something that wasn't enemies at all. Chapter 6: Accidentally Intimate. Maya only meant to work late for an hour. Just 1 hour. But of course, 1 hour turned into 3, because the acquisition project was massive and because Elias Reed had the emotional boundaries of a brick wall and the workload expectations of a Greek god, punishing mortals. By 9 p.m., the office was empty. Silent. Dark except for the soft glow of her monitor. Maya stretched her aching back and decided it was officially time to go home before she actually curled up and slept under her desk. She gathered her things, walking toward the elevators, and the lights flickered. She froze. No, not again, don't you dare. The hallway went dimmer. The elevator let out a mechanical groan. "Oh, come on." Maya hit the call button repeatedly. "Work, you stupid tin box." The doors finally slid open. She stepped inside, and the moment she pressed lobby, something stopped the doors from closing. A hand. Long fingers. Expensive suit sleeve. Tall shadow behind it. Maya didn't turn around. She didn't need to. "Why are you everywhere?" she asked the universe. The universe responded in the form of a deep, familiar voice. "I could ask you the same thing." Elias stepped into the elevator, tie loosened, jacket unbuttoned, looking like Sin in a suit. Fantastic. Just fantastic. The doors closed. The elevator jerked and stopped. Again, Maya screamed internally. "No," she whispered. "Not with him. Anyone but him." Elias pressed the emergency button calmly. "Relax. You relax." She snapped. "These elevators are possessed. They're old," he said. "Old and evil." The lights flickered, and she grabbed onto the railing. Elias moved closer instinctively. Too close. Close enough that his arm brushed hers. Close enough that she had to tilt her head back to look up at him. Close enough that his cologne wrapped around her like warm smoke. "Are you okay?" he asked softly. She wasn't sure if he meant physically or mentally. She wasn't sure which one she failed. "I'm fine," she whispered. Elias didn't believe her. His eyes searched her face, slow and gentle in a way that made her breath catch. "Maya," he said again. Her name sounded different this time. Lower, softer. like he was holding it carefully in his mouth. "Talk to me," he murmured. "What do you want me to say?" She whispered. "Say you're scared," he said quietly. "So I know you're human." She let out a shaky laugh. "I'm always human. You don't act like it." "Thanks. That wasn't an insult." "What was it then?" He hesitated. His jaw clenched. And then, "You're stronger than most people," he said. "Even when you don't think you are." Her heart stuttered. "Elias." He didn't look away. The air was thick, heavy, charged. He reached out and touched her arm. Barely. Light enough to pull away if she flinched. She didn't. His hand slid down her arm slowly, feeling for the tremble she tried to hide. "You are scared," he said. "No," she whispered. Don't lie. I don't want to say it." "Then don't," he murmured. "I already know." A soft mechanical whir filled the silence. The elevator lights flickered back on. And suddenly, it moved. Maya stumbled as the elevator jerked downward. Elias caught her by the waist. Her hands landed on his chest. They froze. Her breath hitched. His eyes dropped to her mouth. His fingers tightened just slightly on her side. Too close. Too charged. Too much. The doors opened. Neither of them moved. Not for a full 2 seconds. Then Elias stepped back first. He cleared his throat. "We should go." "Yeah," she whispered. "We should." They walked out together into the lobby. But their steps weren't steady. Their breathing wasn't steady. Nothing was steady. Elias opened the lobby door for her. She walked past him, and didn't miss the way his eyes followed her, like he didn't know how to stop. Something had shifted. Something both of them felt. Something neither knew what to do with. And as Maya walked into the cool night air, her heart thudding painfully against her ribs, one truth echoed through her mind. They were in trouble. Both of them. Deep. Inevitable. Breathtaking trouble. Chapter 7. Sparks Catch Fire. The morning after the elevator incident was dangerous. Not because anything bad happened, but because nothing should have happened. And yet something had. A shift. A spark. A moment neither of them could unfeel. Maya walked into the office trying to pretend everything was normal. She failed instantly, because the first thing she saw was Elias, standing outside her office, leaning against the frame, holding a folder, waiting for her. His eyes lifted the moment she appeared. And for a second, that split second, the world narrowed to just the two of them. Too intense. Too knowing. Too much. He straightened. Maya. Her breath hitched. Elias. Silence stretched between them. Then, the universe, with its impeccable comedic timing, sent in a distraction. A tall, handsome associate walked past Maya and smiled brightly. "Morning, Maya." She returned the smile. "Morning." She didn't think much of it. Elias did. His jaw tightened. Barely. But enough. Maya blinked. Was he jealous? No. Impossible. Elias Reed didn't get jealous. He didn't even get feelings. But when the associate glanced at her again and said, "If you're free later, I can help you prep the market risk section," Elias spoke before she could answer. "She won't be free." Maya shot him a look. "Excuse me?" Elias didn't break eye contact with the associate. "She'd be in meetings with me all day." The man stiffened. "All right. Sure." He walked off quickly. Maya glared. "What was that?" "What was what?" "You know exactly what." Elias lifted one brow calmly. "I scheduled meetings. You blocked him like a human firewall." He shrugged. "He was distracting." "Distracting from what?" Elias paused. Just long enough. Then he said quietly, "Me." Her pulse tripped. She opened her mouth. To argue, deny, deflect something. But no words came. Elias stepped closer, lowering his voice. Come to the conference room in 5 minutes, he said, brushing past her. We need to talk. The conference room. When Maya walked in, Elias was already there, jacket off, sleeves rolled, leaning over the table reviewing papers. The sight alone made something warm coil low in her stomach. She cleared her throat. What did you want? He looked up and stopped. He studied her for a moment. Not like a CEO analyzing data, but like a man trying to understand something that unnerved him. Maya, he said, softer than usual. About last night. Her chest tightened. Oh God, they were going to talk about it. Nothing happened, she blurted out. He blinked. I didn't say something happened. It didn't. Did you want something to? The air left her lungs. Elias, he stepped toward her. Slow, measured, deliberate. You grabbed me, he said quietly. No, you grabbed me, she shot back. You didn't let go. Neither did you. He took another step. She backed up instinctively until her back hit the table. Elias stopped inches in front of her. Too close. His breath warm on her skin. His voice dropped. Why didn't you let go? Maya swallowed hard. Because she didn't want to. Because being close to him felt too good. Because she wanted to lean in instead of step back. But she wasn't telling him that. So she lied. I slipped. His eyes narrowed. No, you didn't. That's my story, she whispered. He leaned in, just a little, enough to make her knees weaken. Maya, he murmured. I know when you're lying. Their eyes locked. A spark. A pull. A dangerous gravity dragging them together. He lifted a hand. Slowly. As if giving her time to stop him. But she didn't. His fingers brushed her cheek. Gentle. Soft. Too soft for a man who intimidated everyone else in the building. Her breath caught. Elias's voice dropped to a whisper. Tell me to step back, he said. She couldn't. Her pulse pounded. Her lips parted. And he leaned closer, closer, so close that their noses nearly brushed. Her heart hammered against her ribs. His lips hovered above hers, warm and impossibly close. Maya, he whispered, if you don't tell me to stop. But she didn't speak. She didn't breathe. She didn't move away. And he started to close that last inch. The conference room door swung open. They jumped apart like guilty teenagers. Layla froze in the doorway, eyes wide. Oh my God, Maya wanted to die. Elias cleared his throat violently. Layla's smile widened into something wicked. Did I interrupt something? She asked innocently. Elias straightened his tie. No, Maya smoothed her hair. Nothing, Layla smirked. Of course, nothing. Totally, absolutely. She backed out dramatically. I'll just go breathe outside. Where it's safe. The door closed again. Silence. Humiliating. Electric. Unfinished. Elias turned back to Maya, breathing uneven. We're not done, he said quietly. Her heart skipped. No, she whispered. We're not, and they both knew it. The spark wasn't just there. It was burning. Chapter 8. The twist. The old betrayal. The near kiss lingered in the air all day like smoke. Every time Maya and Elias crossed paths, they looked away too quickly. Stood too close for too long. Spoke too softly. Didn't speak at all. It wasn't hatred anymore. It wasn't even banter. It was tension. Heavy. Electric. Unmanageable. By late afternoon, Maya decided she needed fresh air before she spontaneously combusted. She stepped onto the rooftop terrace, the one employees barely used, letting the cold wind hit her face. Finally, silence. A break. But of course, she wasn't alone for long. The rooftop door opened with a soft click. She didn't need to turn around. Elias, she sighed. Are you avoiding me? He asked. Are you stalking me? She countered. He exhaled, frustrated. Maya, she turned, arms crossed. What do you want? His jaw tightened. Something shifted in his eyes. Not anger. Not irritation. Something darker. Something heavy. I need to tell you something, he said quietly. Her stomach flipped. Okay. It's about the past. She frowned. What past? Elias looked away, gripping the railing with one hand. Knuckles white. Breathing uneven. This wasn't the CEO mask. This wasn't control. This was fear. I didn't tell you before because... He shook his head. Because I knew you'd hate me. Maya blinked. I already hate you. He didn't smile. I mean truly hate me. She froze. Suddenly, the cold wind felt sharper. Elias, she whispered. Just say it. He looked at her then. Really looked. And the pain in his eyes terrified her more than anything else ever had. You remember the internship program years ago, he said. The one you were supposed to get. Her breath stilled. Of course she remembered. It was the opportunity that would have changed everything. Her biggest dream. The one that vanished overnight without explanation. Yes, she whispered. I remember. Elias swallowed hard. You didn't lose it, he said. Her heartbeat thudded. What? You didn't lose it, he repeated quietly. I took it. Maya's entire world stopped. What? He stepped toward her, voice tight. I was young, jealous, afraid you'd leave the city, afraid you'd disappear from my life before I ever figured out how to. He cut himself off, jaw clenching. I convinced the board to choose someone else. The words sliced through her like glass. You? She whispered. You ruined my chance. My dream? My future? Maya, why? Because he breathed sharply, looking away. Because I didn't want you to go. Her chest ached. Not softly, not gently, violently. Are you serious? She whispered. You sabotaged me because you couldn't handle your feelings? Maya, she stepped back. No, don't Maya me. He moved toward her instinctively. She flinched back again. And that broke something in him. I regret it, he said quietly. Every day, every year. I regret it more than anything I've ever done. She laughed, a hollow, shaky sound. Good, his breath caught. Maya, please. You don't get to please your way out of this. Let me explain. There is nothing to explain. Her voice cracked on the last word. The rooftop wind carried the echo like a wound. Elias looked like he'd been punched. Maya, he whispered, voice raw. I was 20. I was scared. I didn't know how to. You didn't know how to what? She demanded. Let me live my life. Let me succeed. Let me leave you behind. He closed his eyes. Yes, her stare turned. Chapter 9. Silence hurts more than anger. Silence. That was what the next 3 days felt like. Not quiet. Not calm. Not restful. Silence. Heavy, suffocating, punishing silence. Maya came to work early. Left late. Avoided every hallway Elias normally used. Skipped meetings he might attend. Moved like a ghost in her own office. She didn't speak to him. Didn't look at him. Didn't acknowledge his existence. And somehow, that hurt him worse than all the yelling she could have thrown at him. Elias unravels. On day 1, Elias told himself she just needed space. On day 2, he told himself she'd eventually talk to him. On day 3, Elias Reed, CEO of Reed Towers, the man who intimidated entire boards and negotiated billion-dollar deals without blinking, stood in his glass office staring at the door Maya refused to walk through. And for the first time in years, he felt powerless. Layla had noticed immediately. She knocked on his office door around noon. He didn't look up. "What? You messed up," she said gently. His jaw clenched. "It's none of your business." "Right," she said. "Except she's my friend. And you look like you're one bad email away from flipping your desk." Elias's hand tightened around his pen. He was one bad email away from flipping his desk. "She won't talk to me," he said quietly. Layla softened. "Elias, give her time. She's had time." "No," Layla shook her head. "She's had shock, pain, anger. She hasn't had time." He finally looked at her. And Layla froze. Because Elias's eyes weren't cold. They weren't annoyed. They were tired, defeated, haunted. "I didn't want to lose her," he said, voice hollow. Layla sighed. "Then don't," he glared. "It's not that simple." "Yes, it is." She pointed toward the elevator. "Go fix it. Stop being a CEO about this and be a person." He hated that she was right. Worse, he hated that he didn't know how to fix it. Maya tries to work without feeling. Maya buried herself in tasks. Charts, reports, email chains, anything to keep from thinking. But her thoughts were traitors. They replayed every moment. His confession, his eyes, his voice cracking, the way he said her name like it meant something. How pathetic, she thought. Still caring how he said her name. She told herself this distance was good, healthy, necessary. But she missed him. Not the CEO, not the enemy. Him, the version of him she saw in the elevator. The version who held her like she mattered. The version who admitted he watched her because he couldn't stop. She hated that version most of all. Because she wanted him. And he'd hurt her before she ever got the chance. When their paths cross again, it happened late in the afternoon by accident. Maya stepped out of the meeting room. Elias turned the corner at the same time. Both froze. Elias inhaled sharply. Maya's heart thudded painfully. For 2 full seconds, they stared at each other. Her eyes were tired. His looked wrecked. He spoke first. Quietly. "Maya." Her chest tightened instantly. God, she hated him for saying her name like that. She moved to walk past him. Elias stepped forward instinctively, not touching her. He wouldn't dare, but blocking her path with enough distance to retreat if she needed to. "Maya, please." Her breath stilled. "Please." Elias Reed did not say please. To anyone. She didn't look up. She couldn't. "Move," she whispered. He swallowed. The sound was audible. "I can't do this anymore," he said softly. She blinked. "Do what?" "This." He gestured helplessly between them. "The silence. The distance. You pretending I don't exist." She clenched her jaw. "You should have thought about that before you ruined my life." His face fell like she'd stabbed him. She almost felt guilty. Almost. But she walked around him. And he let her. For a moment. But then, "Maya," he said again, voice breaking. She stopped. Didn't turn. Didn't breathe. "I know I can't undo the past." Elias continued, each word sounding painful. "But I swear to you, I will spend the rest of my life trying to make up for it if you let me." Her eyes burned. She closed them tightly. "Elias," she whispered, voice shaky. "Stop." He took a trembling breath. "I can't." Her chest cracked open like a fault line. She wanted to scream, cry, turn around, run into him, push him away. She wanted all of it, and none of it. Instead, she whispered, "You don't get to say that." He swallowed. Hard. "Then what am I allowed to say?" he asked softly. She shook her head. A single tear slipped down her cheek. Nothing, and she walked away again. This time, she didn't look back. But Elias did. He watched her walk down the hall like she was the only thing keeping him alive. And when she disappeared around the corner, he broke. Just a little. Just enough to know. If he didn't fix this soon, he wouldn't just lose her. He'd lose the version of himself he only ever became around her. Chapter 10. Elias fights for them. Elias lasted exactly 4 hours after seeing her walk away before he snapped. Completely. Utterly. Beautifully snapped. He dismissed 3 meetings. Ignored 6 calls. Cancelled a CFO briefing. And terrified his assistant so thoroughly that she pretended not to exist until further notice. All because he had one goal. Fix this. Fix her. Fix them. Even if she hated him. Even if she didn't want to hear another word he had to say. He couldn't live in the silence anymore. He'd rather face her anger, her fire, her fury, than this cold distance. So he found her. Of course he did. Elias always found what he hunted. He confronts her. Maya was packing her bag, ready to escape for the day, when her office door shut behind her with a soft but unmistakable click. She stiffened. Elias stood there. Suit jacket off. Tie loosened. Sleeves rolled. Eyes dark and unguarded in a way she had never seen. Elias, she said carefully. I'm leaving. No, he said quietly. You're not. She froze. His voice wasn't commanding. Wasn't harsh. It was something worse. Desperate. I need to talk to you, he said. Maya shook her head. I've heard enough. You haven't heard anything, he countered, stepping closer. She stepped back. He stopped instantly. Because even now, even in his desperation, he wouldn't force closeness she didn't want. But his voice was not steady. I ruined your dream, he said. I know that. I will hate myself for it for the rest of my life. Her throat tightened. But you need to understand why, he continued. And I know that doesn't excuse it. But you deserve the truth. All of it. Maya crossed her arms protectively. Elias, you terrified me. She blinked. What? You terrified me, he repeated, voice harsh with honesty. You were brilliant, ambitious, ready to take over the world. And he laughed bitterly. I wasn't a man worth following into the next room, let alone another city. Maya swallowed hard. And I knew, he said quietly, if you left, I'd never see you again. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Elias's voice lowered. I didn't know how to handle that. I didn't know how to let you go when I hadn't even figured out how to. He stopped, caught himself. Too honest. Too raw. Maya's heart pounded. How to what? How to deal with what I felt, he finished softly. Silence. Deep, piercing, dangerous. Maya whispered, You could have told me. I didn't know how. His voice cracked on the last word. I didn't know how to want someone the right way. She closed her eyes. This was too much. Too painful. Too vulnerable. Maya, he said, taking one tiny step forward. Look at me. She didn't. Maya, he said again, softer. Please. Her eyes fluttered open, and the look on his face knocked the air from her lungs. No arrogance. No sarcasm. No CEO mask. Just a man. A man in love with a woman who had every reason to hate him. He drops his pride. Elias ran a hand through his hair. A nervous gesture she'd never seen. Yes, he said. I sabotaged you. I damaged something precious. I took something from you that I can never give back. Maya felt tears sting her eyes. But Maya, his voice lowered until it was barely above a whisper. I am begging you. Don't let that be the end of us. She backed up again, hitting her desk. Elias, he shook his head. I will not let you walk away without knowing one thing. Her breath hitched. And what's that? She asked. He stepped forward, not closing the space fully. but close enough for his voice to drop into something warm and devastating. I have never cared for anyone the way I care for you. Her heart twisted painfully. Elias exhaled shakily. I should have told you years ago. I should have been better. I should have let you go chase your dreams and hoped you'd come back. His voice broke. And I didn't. Because I was a coward. A tear slipped down Maya's cheek. He saw it, and it shattered him. Maya, he whispered, voice fracturing. I'm so damn sorry. She swallowed. You can't fix the past, she said. No, he agreed. But I can fight like hell for the future. Her breath trembled. And if you don't want me to? If you want me gone? He swallowed hard. I'll walk away. Maya blinked. His eyes were red. His jaw was tight. His hands were trembling. Not with anger. With fear. He meant it. If she said the word, he'd leave. For real. Forever. Elias, she whispered. He stepped back slightly. The smallest retreat. Giving her space. Giving her air. Giving her the choice he should have given her years ago. I'll do whatever you want, he said. Just tell me. Her heart warred with itself. Anger, pain, regret, longing, fear, love she wasn't ready to name. She opened her mouth, and the fire alarm suddenly blared through the building. Elias closed his eyes. Not now, he muttered. Maya almost laughed. A broken, exhausted sound. Employees were pouring out of offices, shouting questions, gathering belongings. Elias looked at her desperately. Maya, she lifted a hand gently. Go, she whispered. We'll talk later. His shoulders slumped with relief and dread. He nodded once, slowly. Then he stepped aside. Later, he repeated. A promise. A plea. As she walked past him, their hands brushed. A spark shot through them both. She didn't pull away. And neither did he. Chapter 1 slow, reluctant healing. The fire alarm turned out to be a drill. A painfully timed, cosmically cruel drill. Employees had gathered outside, annoyed and chatting. Maya stood near the edge of the crowd, arms wrapped around herself, staring at the pavement as if it might offer guidance. She didn't expect Elias to find her. But he did. Of course he did. He walked toward her slowly, carefully, like she was a skittish animal he didn't want to scare off. And weirdly, it worked. His presence didn't overwhelm her this time. It steadied her. Are you okay? He asked gently. She nodded without meeting his eyes. You? No, he said truthfully. I'm not. The honesty made her chest ache. She finally looked up. Elias looked. Human. Exhausted. Frayed. Like he hadn't slept since she walked away. And she hated that part of her, warmed at the sight. They stood there for a moment. Outside the building, they both lived in more than their own homes, surrounded by noise but wrapped in silence. Can we talk tonight? Elias asked. Maya hesitated. He held her gaze, cautious, hopeful, terrified of her answer. Yeah, she said quietly. We can talk. Relief washed over his face so strongly she almost forgot how to breathe. After work, the talk. They ended up in Elias's private office, the only quiet space left after hours. City lights glittered behind them through the windows. The world felt far away. Maya walked in slowly. Elias kept a respectful distance, hands in pockets, shoulders tight with restraint. She spoke first. You hurt me, she said, voice steady but soft. He nodded. I know. You betrayed me. I know. You took something I earned. His jaw clenched with guilt. I know. And I'm still angry. You should be. Silence. A painful, heavy silence. Elias inhaled shakily. But Maya, I don't want to be the reason you stop chasing anything in your life ever again. She frowned. What do you mean? He stepped closer, slowly, placing a document on the table between them. She picked it up. Her heart stopped. It was the application form for the same elite program she lost years ago. Except this time, it was open again. Her name was pre-filled. Her portfolio was attached. A recommendation letter from Elias himself was added to the packet. Glowing, detailed, heartbreakingly sincere. I already submitted it, Elias said softly. For you. Maya stared at him. You did this? Why? His voice dropped, vulnerable and raw. Because you deserve everything you lost, he whispered. And more. She blinked quickly, eyes stinging. This doesn't fix what happened. No, he said, stepping back. It doesn't. And it's not meant to. Then why? It's me finally doing the right thing, he finished quietly. For once, her breath trembled, and something inside her, something small, wounded, tightly guarded, cracked open. Elias, she whispered. You didn't have to do this. He shook his head. I did. His voice softened. I owe you a lifetime of apologies, Maya. Let me start with one real gesture. She swallowed hard. Her anger didn't vanish, but it softened, melted at the edges. You're trying, she said. More than you know. And I? She took a shaky breath. I see that. Relief flickered across his face. Hesitant, fragile. Maya, he whispered, I don't want perfection from you. I just want a chance to make it right. She took a step closer. Not too close. Not as close as she had been before, but close enough. I'm not promising anything, she warned. I'm not asking for everything, he replied. Another beat of silence. Soft, warm, healing. Then, we're still us, he added gently. We still fight. She rolled her eyes. You're infuriating, he smiled softly. So are you, but you're trying. His smile deepened just barely. And you're still here. Her heart fluttered. She hated it, loved it, feared it. The almost kiss. Again, the tension between them thickened, sweet, warm, electric. Elias stepped closer. Maya didn't step back. His voice dropped. Maya. Her breath hitched. I'm not touching you unless you want me to, he whispered. She swallowed. Hard. I don't know what I want yet, she whispered honestly. Okay, he nodded, exhaling slowly. That's okay, but, she added, cheeks warming slowly, I don't want you to stop trying. That broke him. In the best way. His eyes closed for a moment, relief, flooding his entire body like oxygen. When he opened them again, they were warm, dark, full of something real. He stepped closer until they were inches apart. Close enough she could feel his breath. Close enough she felt the gravity of him pulling her in. Their foreheads almost touched. Almost. Elias whispered, Tell me when you're ready. Her pulse raced. I will. They stayed like that. Suspended in a moment that was almost a kiss. Almost a beginning. Almost everything. Until Maya finally stepped back. Slowly. Reluctantly. Elias let her go. Slowly. Reluctantly. But neither of them broke eye contact. Not once. Chapter 12. Love. Finally. The ending they fought for. The ending they deserved. The next few days felt different. Not perfect. Not magically fixed. But different. Elias kept his distance, respectfully, carefully, but he didn't disappear from her orbit. He was present. Not hovering. Not pushing. Just there. And Maya felt it. Every time she walked past his office, her chest tightened. Every time he looked at her during a meeting, something in his gaze softened. Every time he said her name, her heartbeat didn't know how to behave. The hurt was still there, but so was something else. Something warm. Something terrifying. Something she finally stopped running from. The night everything changed. It was nearly 8 p.m. again. The office was quiet. Lights low. City glowing outside like molten gold. Maya was gathering her things when a soft knock sounded against her open door. She didn't have to look up. Elias. He stepped inside. Hands in his pockets. Shoulders tense, but hope flickering beneath. Maya, he replied, voice gentle. Are you heading out? Yeah, she said. You? He shook his head slightly. Not yet. She nodded. They stood in a moment of quiet that felt like a crossroads. Maya, can we talk? He asked quietly. She hesitated, then nodded. Yeah, we can talk. He let out a breath like he'd been holding it for days. The rooftop, full circle. They ended up on the rooftop again. The same place where everything broke. Now the place where everything might heal. The air was cool. The wind softer this time. The lights of the city below, shimmering like stars scattered across the ground. Elias stood beside her, but not too close. Not the way he once did. Respectful. Waiting. She appreciated that more than he knew. Maya, he began, voice low and careful. I meant every word the other night. All of it. She looked at him. The guilt in his eyes was still there. But so was something deeper. Something raw. Something scared. Something hopeful. She swallowed. Elias, I'm still hurting. He nodded. I know. And I'm still angry. I deserve that. And I don't know how long that feeling will linger. I'll wait, he said softly. As long as you need. Her chest squeezed. She looked out at the skyline. I don't want to hold on to the past forever, she admitted. I don't want the worst thing you did to overshadow the best parts of you. Maya, he whispered. You don't owe me forgiveness. No, she said, turning to face him. But I owe myself peace. He inhaled shakily. And I don't think I want to lose you, she added quietly. He froze. Completely. As if those words rewired his entire being. Maya, he breathed, stepping closer. Say that again, she swallowed, cheeks warming. I don't want to lose you. His chest rose sharply. He didn't touch her. Not yet. Just stood in front of her with that look that once terrified her. Now it made her knees weak. Maya. His voice dropped deep and rough. You have no idea what you do to me. Her heart thundered. I'm still scared, she whispered. So am I, he admitted. Every second I'm around you. Why? He stepped closer. Slow. Deliberate. Eyes never leaving hers. Because I've never wanted anyone the way I want you. Her breath caught. And I don't know if I deserve you, he added, voice cracking. But I want to try. I want us to try. She felt her heart opening, cautiously but surely. Elias. He stepped even closer. So close she could feel his warmth. So close she could see the tiniest flecks of gold in his dark eyes. So close that the whole world narrowed to just him. Tell me to stop, he whispered. She didn't. Maya, he said again, lower now. Tell me not to kiss you. She couldn't. Her voice was barely a breath. I won't. His eyes darkened. Desire. Relief. Longing mixing into something overwhelming. Maya, he murmured reverently. I'm going to kiss you. She nodded once. Slow, soft, certain. Yes, and that was all he needed. He cupped her face gently, the gentlest she'd ever felt from anyone, and leaned in. Their lips met. Soft at first. A question. A plea. A breath. Then deeper. Stronger. Years of tension unraveling in one kiss. A kiss that wasn't rushed or desperate or hungry, but meaningful. Healing. Real. Her hand slid to his chest. His thumb brushed her cheek. Their foreheads touched as they broke apart slowly. Breathing hard. Maya, he whispered, voice wrecked. I'm all in. She smiled softly. For the first time in days, truly smiled. So am I. He exhaled with disbelief and relief, resting his forehead against hers. They stood there under the city lights, tangled in each other, in all the pain and all the healing and all the impossible, undeniable love that had grown between them. They weren't perfect. They weren't fixed. But they were together, finally. And this time, it wasn't fear or guilt or old wounds holding them back. It was choice. Love. Hard won, complicated, fierce love, in the line of fire. The end.